Hi everyone, Dave Bradshaw here. We've just gone off the air with Live in Southampton 38, as always joined by RevPro owner and booker Andy Quildan. A lot to talk about, as there always is, Andy. First of all, I want to talk about our undisputed British heavyweight champion, Charles Samuels. It was a wild tag team main event. We'll get on to a bit more about the match in itself in a minute, but Samuels was cut open during the match. I understand he's had to go to A&E. Can you give us any more news about that?
Yeah, he was just tended to by medics. They've cleaned up the wound. They've given him some kind of, is it the butterfly gimmick that they do? Yeah, Shah. He's going to be absolutely fine.
He told me he's fine.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things, isn't it? Like, as he's just been in so many physical matches, and you think about, the state of his face at the end of that, the culmination. There's that picture of him with the undisputed British Heavyweight Championship belt at the culmination of his contest with Ricky Knight Jr., and he's covered in blood. He just still had a smile on his face then. And whilst he didn't have a smile on his face tonight, he says absolutely fine. He's good to go. And he can't wait to kind of get back to action and try and get back to winning ways, because he knows he's got a target on his back. He's got a clear destination now in 2 weeks' time when we're live in Lyon, October 26th. You'll be able to watch it either live in person or live on RevProOnDemand.com. It's going to be Charles Samuels versus Jay Joshua for the most prestigious heavyweight championship gold in the whole of independent professional wrestling. First time that championship will be defended in France as well. And if you ask Jay Joshua, it's going to be a history-making night. But
and he might be right, by the way, because in terms of that title, I know Shah is saying he's fine, but he got manhandled tonight in that main event by Joshua and pinned by him.
Yeah, I think Jay Joshua's he's been in a different mindset for quite some time now, and I think that really, and I'm sure we'll talk about Conor Mills and Michael Oku as well, but I think really since Jay Joshua's been teaming with Conor Mills, they've brought out the best in each other, but what they brought out in each other is the worst about everyone else, because they are in rare form right now, and I feel that you wouldn't want to be Charles Samuels right now. And I think Charles Samuels thought he'd been hit by the hardest hitter in Revolution Pro Wrestling when he was hit by Ricky Knight Jr. I think he may be reassessing those thoughts, especially after the events at the close of our Live in 100 event, and of course the tag team clash here tonight.
Let's talk about Mills and Oku. It was shocking last week, obviously, when Mills rekindled that rivalry that had been kind of dormant for almost 3 years behind the half crab. And then we saw that today in that tag main event, Mills and Oku were so desperate to get at each other, they didn't even wait for Charles Samuels to come out of the match. Didn't even get started for a few minutes. It was chaos out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's personal. It's very personal between Michael Oku and Conor Mills. That's probably the best way to describe it. We talk about the business of professional wrestling all the time, but this one is a personal rivalry. Former best friends, former tag team partners, tag team champions, British Tag League winners. But they seem destined to kind of do this forever. I know Michael Oku was almost determined for the last contest to be, between the pair of them, to be the last time that they met each other. But it's, as you say, it was 3 years ago. It was going to be almost 3 years to the day. Uprising 3 years ago to Uprising.
And it's incredible, by the way, that bitterness that Mills has obviously held within him, that he lost that last time to Oku. Oku's been in 3 times now in singles competition here in RevPro. Obviously, they're going to go against each other again. It's the first match announced for Uprising December 14th in Cardiff. But as you said, and as I think Michael Oku has said, I don't know if it's ever going to be over between these two.
Yeah, and like you say, Mills held on to that bitterness, and I think that it's really coming out now. But I feel like whilst he held on to that bitterness, and whilst they may never have actually competed against each other, in that time, I think every strike he was giving to anyone else he was competing against, I think he was picturing Michael Oku. I think it's very clear to see that Michael Oku motivates Conor Mills in very, very bad ways. It's look. you can lay it all out on the table, but at the end of the day, they're two of the best wrestlers in the world today. They're on a collision course. There's that extra personal spice. And like you say, you may the physical rivalry may have laid dormant for these past 3 years, but the mental rivalry absolutely has not. This is going to be a contest for the ages. Oku versus Mills, and I can't wait. And it's just a great first contest to announce for the Vale Arena in Cardiff on Sunday, December 14th, when we present Uprising 2025. And I can't wait. And obviously I'm privy to the cards for Uprising, and I think it's just going to be one great way to end the year. And I think that everything we've been doing has just been so exciting. And I think that to be able to culminate with Uprising, Mills and Oku is a perfect end to, I say it's a perfect end to 2025, but
we're back here.
28th December. It's crazy, isn't it? I think next time we will be back here, we will have had our Christmas dinners.
Yeah, you'd have given me my Christmas present.
I was going to say you could give me my late Christmas present, but
yeah,
I'm looking forward to Christmas time as well. But yeah, it's just a great, exciting end of the year, and it's like I say, like starting next week with Fantastica Mania, moving on to Lyon in France, just great times.
If we're talking of exciting, I do want to shift attention here for a minute to the cruiserweight division. We had a pair of incredible cruiserweight matches, including one of them being for the undisputed British cruiserweight title tonight. Nino Bryan against Cameron Kai. Kai, who accepted this offer to have that match tonight when Liam Slater, his coach, wasn't going to be here. He came very, very close to winning. It was the smallest of margins, the smallest of errors that cost him. But we were speculating on commentary, and I'm sure a lot of fans watching were speculating. If Liam Slater had been here, would that have happened?
You'd have to ask Liam Slater that. You have to ask him his opinion of that, because I'm sure he has got opinions. I think that it doesn't really matter what the contest is. There's always if, buts and maybes. Reality is what actually happened, and that is Nino Bryan picked up the victory. Can Cameron Kai learn a lot from tonight's contest? Absolutely he can, because like you say, there were little mistakes that he made, and you've got to think about, let's think about the influence of Coach Liam Slater for a second, right? And we know at high stakes, when Liam Slater was in the corner of Leon against Michael Oku, we know that it seemed for so long that he was going to be the absolute difference maker. But at the last second, Michael Oku was able to switch things up and pick up the victory. Now, Liam Slater being at ringside may have been very beneficial to Leon Slater long term, because we know when they met at the anniversary show, it was Leon, again with Liam in his corner, who came out on top. But Liam being at ringside, he was able to strategize. He was able to pick up lots of tips and pointers. And you, I'm sure yourself, will know there's nothing like being there up close, personal, live. You see things that you can't see through the TV screen, right? And that could perhaps be one of the most pivotal things about Liam Slater not being there tonight, is preparation for a rematch. Because when there's a match which is as close as that, you need to see a rematch. But look, if Cameron Kai wants his rematch, he's going to have to get in line, because we know that Leon Cage wants his shot at the Cruiserweight Championship. He was lined up to get that Cruiserweight Championship shot before he so cruelly got injured, and he defeated tonight the former Cruiserweight champion, the man he would have met at the Revolution Rumble, Will Caven. He defeated him. He came out. He made his intention clear. He wants Nino Bryan's Cruiserweight Championship.
And that'll be a rematch. That'll be a rematch of the Fight for the Future that we had earlier this year, where Leon Cage won.
Yeah, absolutely. So you'd have to look at Leon Cage and think maybe he's a favourite, but Nino Bryan is a lot smarter. He's a lot wiser. He's whilst those, how many months has Leon Cage been out? I don't know.
5 months.
5 months. In those 5 months, Nino Bryan has competed against the highest level of competition, and he's continued to improve and he's continued to get better. So it's not a foregone conclusion, but Leon Cage absolutely would have to be. He knows what it takes to beat the champion, and I think that psychological game could give him somewhat of an advantage. But
just to be clear, by the way, they both made it absolutely clear that they want that match. Are you telling us here that match is going to happen?
Well, look, my job's to make matches happen, isn't it? And I want to see them fight. I said, after their Fight for the Future, I said that I think this is a match we're destined to see again and again and again and again, and I stand by that. And I think that the next chapter, will it be for the Cruiserweight Championship? If it happens soon, then probably yes. But we will do what we can to kind of put it together as quickly as possible, because I want to see that match. But again, I feel like the cruiserweight division, I'd say it's just an exciting time in RevPro across the divisions. But cruiserweight division, super exciting. Just that great contest between Joe Lando and Nino Bryant last week. He will want to get himself back in the conversation. I'm sure Will Caven will want to get himself back in the conversation. Leo Rush is going to be around. Cameron Kai, True and Lacey could be in that conversation.
Robbie X, we saw him tonight.
Yeah, Robbie X in fine form tonight. Again, he didn't get the win, but he was going up against a much bigger, stronger Luke Jacobs, wasn't he? And you've got to think, if Robbie X decides to lay his hat in the cruiserweight division, perhaps that could be that could be his destination. So yeah, it's just, like I say, it says you've got the stars of CMLL coming to the UK next week. We all know what happened last time the stars of CMLL came to the UK. They left with the Cruiserweight Championship when Neon won that undisputed British Cruiserweight Championship from Jordan Breaks. So,
anything can happen, right? We'll come to Fantastic Mania. I do want to address that in just a minute, but there's one more thing from tonight I do want to address. I think it's important that we do, and that is the shocking nature in which the Sons of Southampton ended up breaking up. We know it was win or bust. If they didn't win the match today against the Flying Bryants, then JJ Gale had made it clear that they were done. They didn't win the match. And JJ Gale, in the gentlest of possible ways, said to Francisco, look, we're still friends, but as I said, we didn't win today. It's done. I'm going to focus on my singles career. And what happened next was horrific.
David Francisco through and through. They say a leopard never changes their spots, and I guess that's spot on when you talk about David Francisco. I think that JJ Gale gave David Francisco the benefit of the doubt, and I think because JJ Gale gave him that benefit of the doubt, that also lent towards the fans giving him the benefit of the doubt, and David Francisco has just repaid all of that by shoving it in their face and proving that he's still the same old David Francisco. Much like, and again, we shouldn't be surprised because, they say history repeats itself, but much like when David Francisco came into Revolution Pro Wrestling and he was a contender and he was there setting up the ring, shaking hands, being polite, it turns out he was just biting his tongue because the second he shed the contender's gear, before he, was officially, graduated from the contenders division, I might add, the true him came out. And I think that just happened. I think he's
a sociopath, what he is.
That's a bit strong, Dave.
I think he is. Let's call it what it is.
Okay, let's call it what it is, yes.
All right, at the very least, he's a politician. He's got that kind of two-faced nature to him where you think he's telling you the truth. We've all fallen for it. You just said the fans kind of let their guard down. JJ Gale let his guard down. And again, we've all been taken for fools because he showed us his true colours.
Yeah, well, look, I agree with you. One thing you can't argue with is David Francisco's success, because I think many people have bet against him. And I feel that, I think he's probably gone his whole life with people betting against him. We know his story. I know, he's a son of Southampton, and the people of Southampton took him under their wing and whatever have you.
Not tonight.
Not tonight. No. Yeah, I was like, wow, finally the world is healing, because they saw David for who he truly is, and I think about David. He's someone who he's defied all odds to get to where he has done, and he's had to do that by being very defensive. He's had to do that by operating the way that you've just described, right? So you can't argue with his success, because I think very few people would have figured that he would still be around, and thriving here in Revolution Pro Wrestling. A lot of people have bet against him, and he's kind of proving people wrong time and time again, but I just wish he'd be able to do it without stabbing people in the back, left, right and centre, and pretending to be someone that he's not, because it's not cool. It's not a good character trait to have, and it's not a good role model for the young fans to have either. You see, again, I'm going to kind of go back to Michael Oku, but you saw the reaction, the affinity that the fans have to Michael Oku. You saw the reactions from some of the young fans after.
And Oku would never do that in 100 years.
Right.
I mean, that's the difference.
Right, but yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I feel that David had the opportunity and potential to have that same affinity for the fans that Mike Logu has, but he just let himself down.
Yeah, he's playing it. Well, speaking of Oku, let's look ahead to this coming Saturday, Fantastica Mania UK 2025. The stars of CMLL joining us in Wolverhampton, and one of those matches will be Michael Oku against Mystico, a mouth-watering prospect for sure. Thinking about that match, thinking about all the other matches, what are your thoughts headed into Wolverhampton?
I'm excited. It's a time when you see the most exciting dream matches, a very different style of professional wrestling, and we get to see our British style merging with the Lucha Libre style of professional wrestling, a real hybrid night of action. But you're seeing authentic CMLL stars up close and personal in their primes. They're all excited to be here. I'm excited to welcome them, and we always create just two unique and fun cards. And I very much urge anyone who can get to Wolverhampton this Saturday. We've got two shows. Get yourself down to the hangar in Wolverhampton because it's going to be an absolute treat. And again, it's one of those things that we like to do that I feel like gets taken for granted sometimes. You know, these opportunities. It's almost like you don't know what you've got till it's gone. You know, and I think we'll be looking back on these days very fondly in the sense of, oh my God, we had all these stars from CMLL up close and personal. You know, and I think that we need to take, like, I'm not specifically saying like fans, I'm saying like us as well. We need to not take these moments for granted because, you know, we sit here after every single show and we do these things and we're always like, oh, what's next? What's next? What's next? You know, even look, we're going to do Fantastica Mania and it's going to be 1 week and we're going to be in Leon, right? And it's so often now, it's just the way of the world is on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing, when really we need to take a deep breath and appreciate, you know, these times we're living in, these unique contests, these first time contests, these dream matches that you're going to be seeing. So yeah, it's going to be a great 2 shows of action. And like I say, I'm pumped. I'm super excited. And again, I will say as well, it's great opportunities for our talent as well, to open the eyes of the CMLL matchmakers. Also, we know Kanji is going to be off to Mexico this week as well. She's going to be representing RevPro for CMLL, and she's going to get a good few matches in Arena Mexico. She's going to get the opportunity to train out there as well. She may even cross paths with our undisputed British Women's Champion while she's out there as well.
Interesting.
I believe Mercedes will be defending her CMLL Championship this weekend. So.
Kenji had a great win tonight, by the way, as well against Zoe Lucas.
What a match. Yeah, against the former British Women's Champion Zoe Lucas, who showed everyone exactly why she was a former British Women's Champion tonight and showed that she can keep up. You know, you always think about, Zoe Lucas's British Women's Championship reign came to an end in 2020, right? And it's 5 years ago now. And, but she proves she can more than hang.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, great contest.
Well, look, before we go, we talked about Wolverhampton, we talked about Leon. The week after that, November 2nd, we are back in Porchester Hall in London, our new home, which we're settling very nicely into for those monthly Live in London shows. 2 big matches already announced for that. Is there any more you can tell us about what's going to happen November 2nd?
Well, we know as well, it's going to see the return to Revolution Pro Wrestling of the Good Brothers. So it's, look, we've made our intentions very clear. You know, we're planning on just upping the levels of everything as we head into 2026. We're going to look. It's what we've been doing since day one is upping the levels of everything, and it's slow and steady wins the race, so to speak, because we have to do everything in a sustainable manner. I know it's boring, but unfortunately we have to do it like that. And our hand has been forced in this situation, but you know, we're looking to make the most of each and every opportunity we have. So, you know, look, we got our largest crowd for a Live in London show. Last time out, Live in London 100. Let's try and beat it for 101. And let's kind of keep moving forward. There's only 2 shows left in the Porchester Hall before the end of the year, before Christmas, of course, the first Sunday in November, first Sunday in December. And as you say, we've settled in nicely. We're all getting along just grand. We're all enjoying the hot dogs and a cheaper bar and a great location and feeling posh while we're there as well, because it's still get a bit of imposter syndrome when I walk in that building.
Very nice area. A very nice building.
Yes, we can look ahead to next year as well, and we're going to be I strongly recommend we're putting together our schedules. Like today, like right now is probably the busiest time in the RevPro year, because obviously, look, we've got times when we're running shows, boom, 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 every week, every week, every week. We're doing that. We're running shows every week. But not just that, we're putting together our schedule for next year. So I urge everyone to kind of, keep their eyes peeled to social media as we kind of release more and more dates for 2026. We're planning on being just as busy, if not more busy than this year, which I'm very excited about. I'm very excited to continue to grow in the towns where we've kind of started to make new homes for ourselves as well. I'm talking about places like Southampton, like Sheffield, like Coventry, looking to go back to Doncaster, and new areas, like Cardiff coming up at the end of the year. Is that going to be the start of something for us, in that part of the world or that part of the country? And kind of, again, just looking to continue to be doing this as busy as possible, week in, week out, producing the highest professional wrestling as possible, and continuing to deliver the best value we can to everyone watching at home on RevProOnDemand.com. So to do that, we need to produce shows. But I guess it's a long way to say. Back to the original point, obviously the first dates which are in the books, first dates which are confirmed, are the first Sunday of every single month through to the end of 2026, when we'll be live at the Porchester Hall. Now, the individual tickets aren't on sale for those events yet. They'll start to come out probably end of this month, the individual events. But what we have put on sale are our season tickets. So best value for money. You've got a guaranteed ticket price. I think it works out at £22 for the general admission ticket and £33 for the front row ticket, maybe, or maybe less than that. I don't know. You'll have to check it out. It's good value for money, and no matter what we charge for the event itself, you will be guaranteed that price. And we made good on that. As you know, this year Live in London 100 is more expensive. Last year we had a show. It may have even been this year. Was it this year or was it last year when Minoru Suzuki came to 229? The tickets were more expensive, but season ticket holders got the same price that they always get. So it's just a great value for money. And if you want a front row seat, you get to guarantee that same front row seat for every single show. So I think it's a great Christmas present.
I was going to say, it could be an excellent Christmas present.
And it's also a great gift for yourself as well, if you want to kind of treat yourself, because, charity begins at home, I guess. It's all about self-care, isn't it, these days? But yeah, get yourself a season ticket to Revolution Pro Wrestling's Live in London shows. I will add as well that, obviously, look, we appreciate times are hard. We've made sure that for literally all our ticket purchases across the board, there's an option for PayPal, pay now, buy now, pay later. Which basically means that you get to have, you can purchase any ticket over the price of £30. You get to repay in interest-free payments. So it still costs you the same money. You get to spread the payments out across 3 payments. So, when you look at it like that, it's a no-brainer, especially if you're, considering attending many shows across the year. Like, I think it works out, you get at least 2 shows for free, maybe 3.
Yeah, wow. Great value for money. And speaking of no-brainers, we hope that it is a no-brainer that you will join us either in person or RevPro On Demand this coming Saturday for those 2 shows that make up Fantasticomania UK. In the meantime, Andy, I'll let you go. We'll see you in Wolves. And thank you for the time as always. I've been Dave Bradshaw. You've been watching the RevPro YouTube channel.